Okay, so hopefully you guys have finished drawing one quarter of your truss, as you can see here. It's also important to note that since you'll be trying to mirror this part, these parts here that join your two halves together should be fully modeled, and you'll see later that we're not actually going to mirror these two parts. So before I show you guys how to mirror this, I'm going to show you how to save this sort of assembly correctly. So as you can see, I've added all my new parts in and my links and members and renamed them all. So now what we're going to do is go File, Save As. So after we find the folder that we want to save in, we'll just call this Truss Bridge and save as an assembly. So now we're going to get this warning message. This assembly contains components that have in-context references. So we want to select the second option. We want to save it with the in-context references. And then a new window is going to pop up. Asking us to specify a folder. So from here we can just go Save All. And there we have our part saved. So now we're going to mirror these parts. So earlier on in the previous videos, we created a plane to draw our truss off. So what we need to do now is create another plane. So we'll go to File, Insert, Reference Geometry Plane. Now our first reference is going to be our front plane that we sketched all our parts on. And now our second reference is going to be that plane that we created earlier, plane 1. And so that's going to set up a mid plane for us that's fully defined. So now we can just click the green tick, and that plane we created, we can actually rename that one. So we'll call this mirror plane. Now what we want to do is go over to the Assembly tab, and we want to select this linear component pattern, but we're going to select the arrow and choose mirror components. So now we're being first asked for a mirror plane. So of course we're going to select the mirror plane that we made, and components to mirror. So from our tree we can just select all these parts that we want. So we can just click hold Control and then click all our parts that we want. And now we just click the green tick, and we've generated the other half of our truss. Now we want to complete the full span. So we want to create another reference plane. So we'll go Insert, Reference Geometry Plane, and our first reference is going to be this construction line we created, which is in the middle here. And our second reference, we're going to select the other line, and that's going to generate a plane between those two construction lines from our wireframe that we drew. Click the green tick again, and our plane 3 we can then rename to, we'll call this span plane, or whatever we want to call it, it doesn't really matter. And so now we're just going to repeat what we did. So click the arrow, mirror components, mirror plane will be our span plane, and components to mirror. Now we want to be careful here, so let's select all these parts except that one and that one, so, and that. So that's all we want to mirror, because as we can see, these middle parts are already over the mirror plane. So if we ended up mirroring these, we'd just duplicate them, or we'd get some issues. So let's just leave those, and then we can see in our tree here we have our mirror component that we did before to do the other side, this truss here. So we can expand that by clicking that little arrow, and now we want to select all the pieces again that we want, continuing to hold down Control. And as you can see, we've accidentally selected the ones we don't want, so we'll just keep holding Control and just click them again and continue through. And that one, we don't want this one here, and then we'll just click our green tick, and now our truss has been generated. So that brings us to the end of creating this truss. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how we can create another assembly and fit this bridge into our fixture CAD that we downloaded from the Canvas homepage. But first, I'm just going to quickly save this file, and that's it. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.